Coming up on UCF Nightly News. Another COVID-19 spike may be changing holiday plans. Stay tuned for tips on how to stay safe.
Orlando International Airport officials are working to ensure traveler safety during the holiday season. Find out how they plan to do this.
And learn about a new degree program UCF is offering.
In sports, find out what two former Knights are doing to help children this holiday season.
Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Kai Rodríguez.
And I'm Jenna Ehrlich. Today is Friday, November 20th, 2020. Here's a look at your coronavirus update. UCF officials report 1,001 student cases since the start of the semester, with 44 new cases since last Friday. And statewide, as of today, the Florida Department of Health reports over 914,000 positive cases and more than 17,000 deaths. Nationally, Johns Hopkins University reports more than 11.7 million cases and more than 252,000 deaths. Today, Pfizer and BioNTech announced they are filing for emergency FDA approval for their COVID-19 vaccine. And breaking news in the state, a coalition of Florida mayors are trying to convince Governor Ron DeSantis to change COVID-19 lockdown restrictions.
COVID-19 spikes again as faculty and students prepare to travel home for the holidays. Nightly News reporter Taylor Toole tells us how Knights can stay safe going into the holiday season.
With Thanksgiving just days away, traditional chatter is changing from holiday plans to CDC guidelines. Recent CDC reports show Florida ranking third in the nation for positive cases, trailing behind Texas and California. In a press conference earlier this week, Orange County Mayor Jerry Deming saying this statistic shows severity and the necessity for precautions.
I myself am suggesting to my family members that they seriously consider getting tested if they are going to gather. That will provide some reassurance.
Deming says Orange County residents can get a free COVID-19 test at Barnett Park this holiday season. But Demetrius Inman, a freshman at UCF, recently had a COVID-19 scare. He says this Thanksgiving could be the last with his grandfather, so his family is having a small dinner. However, Inman says they are not getting tested.
We are taking a risk by not getting tested, and that if it got to that point, it could either hurt him even more or, he's in that at-risk category for being susceptible to dying.
The CDC recommends celebrating within the household, wearing a mask when not eating, and keeping windows open during your festivities. In Orlando, Taylor Toole, UCF Nightly News.
As a reminder to students, UCF is transitioning back to remote learning after the Thanksgiving holiday, so make sure to plan accordingly.
Despite these COVID spikes, Orlando International Airport officials are working to ensure that passengers fly safely. Nightly News reporter Peyton Maciejewski tells us more on what COVID-19 precautions are being put in place for Thanksgiving travelers.
International Airport, also known as MCO, is the sixth busiest airport in the nation, and it looks like there will be a fair amount of visitors this season. Despite the pandemic, MCO states in a press release they expect about 50% of regular holiday travelers. During the 12-day holiday period, which starts today, airport officials predict about 40,000 departures. This is a change in comparison to this video from 2017 and last year, when MCO saw nearly 3 million travelers. UCF student Zariah Squires is traveling to Colorado for the holiday season. She says she is a bit nervous about the size of crowds at the airport this year due to COVID-19.
I'm just hoping that the airport does all that they can with social distancing guidelines, like floor placements and stuff like that, to make sure people aren't bunched up in one place too much. But yeah, I'm definitely worried that it's going to be super busy.
MCO CEO Phil Brown shares that the airport is making sure travelers are safe by frequently cleaning and enforcing COVID-19 guidelines. These include wearing face masks, observing social distancing, and washing or sanitizing your hands. As for Squire's thoughts on traveling this season,
we're just going to hope for the best.
In Orlando, Peyton Maciejewski, UCF Nightly News.
To learn more about what to expect at MCO this holiday season, visit their website at orlandoairports.net. Hey Lauren, what's the weather looking like right now?
The weather's looking pretty good today. It's currently 77 degrees with humidity at 71%, east-northeast winds at 15 miles per hour, and a 30% chance of rain for today. Now tonight will be about 66 degrees, so a little cooler, with 30% chance of rain and humidity at 71% again. Northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. That's all I have now, but I'll be back for you guys later for the 5-day forecast. Back to you, Jenna and Kai.
Up, hear what Nigerian students are saying after finding themselves in between an anti-police brutality movement in the U.S. and one back home.
Plus, learn how UCF is celebrating International Education Week in a virtual way. The End SARS hashtag is flooding social media, bringing attention to police brutality in Nigeria. UCF Knightly News reporter Fritz Farrow tells us how UCF Nigerian students are dealing with back-to-back movements against police brutality.
While Black Lives Matter protests pop up across America and even in other countries like South Africa, Nigerians find themselves protesting police brutality, but this time within their own borders. Prominent figures like singer Rihanna, Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton showed solidarity with Nigerians on Twitter. Hillary Clinton joined demonstrators' calls to end SARS, which is the country's state police force. Nigerian UCF Health Sciences junior Mary Joanne Aljera says, though it may be bombarding to see a slew of posts, she appreciates people spreading awareness.
I'm so happy that all these tweets are coming out. People are talking. Like, I know a lot of Nigerians are on Twitter, so everything has been coming out of like the hidden rock.
UCF Electrical Engineering junior Isaiah David Abakasanga says it hurts to have to deal with police brutality in America and in his home country simultaneously.
Having both at the same time just feels like more pain of the same thing. Like it's just the same thing going on and on. So I say it's very like it would be for one, it is for two. It's very painful to think about.
UCF junior biotechnology major Wariko Seminatari says she believes police brutality in America can affect Africans because it's about race, not country of origin.
I think there's a lot of confusion when I came here with people asking me, well, people like, oh, she's not black, she's African. And I was extremely confused because I was like, when the police pulls me over, they're not going to ask you if your name is Toole or Tyrone.
Seminatari says she hopes people stay informed on the End SARS movement. Reporting in Orlando, Fritz Farrow, UCF Nightly News.
For resources on how to cope or how to be an ally, visit UCF Counseling and Psychological Services website.
International students at UCF are celebrating the 14th Annual International Education Week this year. This video from 2019 shows how UCF typically celebrates cultural diversity during this annual event. The student population at UCF has more than 2,500 international students representing more than 136 countries. Countries such as Mexico, Russia, Spain, and more are represented during this year's virtual celebration. Graduate student Georgie Berashuli says it's hard sometimes being international students in the workforce.
International student, it feels like you're competing against everyone, and it's gonna sound bad, but you have to be one step above all your competitors, because being equal to them is just not enough.
International Education Week is a nationwide celebration. Students say they take pride in being an international student, especially at UCF.
A new degree program at UCF is aiming to provide more job security to those working in the hospitality industry. Nightly News reporter Madison Little tells us about this new degree.
UCF's Rosen College of Hospitality Management is offering what they call a one-of-its-kind degree. Professor and founding dean of Rosen College, Abraham Pazam, says the new bachelor's degree in senior living management allows students to use their passion for hospitality in the healthcare industry. He says he hopes the degree can create better job stability, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Because the senior living industry is looking for individuals, is very thirsty for qualified managers and individuals to work in it. And the hospitality industry, unfortunately, has been devastated.
Pazam says the college is preparing future students, but also urging current students to work in this industry because of the lack of hospitality opportunities. Freshman Connor Estes says he chose to major in senior living management not only because it provides job stability, but he feels bringing the philosophy of hospitality to senior living facilities is important.
For some people, this is their whole life. You know, they go into this center and they eat there, they sleep there, they do all of their activities there, all of their friends are there, their family visits there. You know, it's their world.
Estes says the field will always be essential and senior healthcare workers will always be in demand due to the growing senior population. The U.S. Census Bureau predicts a significant increase in the senior population in Florida by the year 2030. And that will lead to more senior living facilities as well. Legacy Point has partnered with UCF to build more of these communities in the Orlando area, including this one, which is under construction near the UCF's main campus. In Orlando, Madison Little, UCF Nightly News.
UCF officials say Legacy Point at UCF will be a 43-acre community and is set to open later in 2021.
With the holidays right around the corner and the pandemic increasing food insecurity, holiday donations are needed more than ever. Second Harvest Food Bank officials say nearly 1 in 6 Orlando residents are having trouble accessing food this year. The Orange County government is providing the Second Harvest Food Bank with $6 million of the Federal CARES Act Relief Fund. Food banks and local soup kitchens are also partnering with Second Harvest Food Bank. The organization is distributing food throughout the holiday months. Coming up, learn about a current knight whose nannying services can be described as supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Plus, Centrix magazine editor Samantha Olson will tell us about the upcoming issue.
UCF is continuing the celebration of the transgender community, finishing off Transgender Awareness Week with Trans Day of Remembrance. Today, the Orlando community is honoring those who had died from acts of violence against the transgender community. The Transgender Murder Monitoring Project finds murder is rising within the community. Worldwide, 350 trans and gender diverse people were murdered between October 2019 and September 2020, a 6% increase from the last reporting period. UCF LGBTQ Services is paying tribute to these victims at the Reflecting Pond until 2 p.m. today.
One UCF student is living her dream. Nightly News reporter Lauren Margolis tells us how a student is turning her love for Disney and kids into a successful business.
When Cyan Nardiello taps her magic band to enter the Disney parks, she's clocking into a day of work.
The nanny named Fran better make room for a nanny named Cyan. After years of working in childcare, social sciences major Cyan Nardiello started her business this fall, combining two things she loves, kids and Disney.
There's definitely a demand for the service that I offer, and there's barely anybody who even offers the service.
She calls her business Once Upon a Nanny. Cyan says her business took off immediately, and although she takes care of many kids in the Disney parks, one girl she sees every week is 9-year-old Dee.
Tell her what you call me.
I call her Sissy.
Cyan says she cares for Dee around 15 hours a week and says they are extremely close. Together they took the Disney community by storm after Dee got a Disney pass for her birthday. The two document their adventures on platforms like TikTok, where they get millions of views. Cyan says she believes in being your own boss and says she wouldn't want it any other way.
I feel like I'm doing rewarding work because I get to have a say in what I do, and I love what I do.
As for making Disney plans, Cyan says she leaves that one up to Dee.
When are you guys planning your next Disney trip? Monday.
In Walt Disney World, Lauren Margolis, UCF Nightly News.
Cyan says she plans on eventually expanding to other theme parks around the world. Students can read more on nsm.today under the Life and Mobile section. Hey Lauren, is the weather going to be nice enough this weekend for Disney?
Yes, Jenna, the weather is going to be looking great, but first let's take a look at the state's current conditions. So the highs in Tampa is 80 degrees, Tallahassee is at a 75, so is Jacksonville, Orlando is at 78, and down in Miami is 81 degrees. And for the lows, tonight is 60 degrees in Tallahassee, Jacksonville is going to be at 63 degrees, Tampa is 64 degrees, Miami is still going to be kind of hot at 75 degrees, and Orlando is 65 degrees. Now, for your 5-day forecast, tomorrow is going to be 79 degrees with lows 66 and a 40% chance of rain. Sunday is going to be 81 degrees with 65 lows and 20% chance of rain. And as for the rest of the week, it's going to be looking nice and sunny leading up to Thanksgiving. So we're going to be having 79 degrees for Monday and Tuesday with lows in the 60s for all those days and really low chances of rain. So back to you guys, Jenna and Kai.
Nicholson's student-run magazine is releasing their 10th volume next week. We have Centric's managing editor Samantha Olson with us today in the studio. So Sam, can you tell me a little bit about Centric and the issue's theme?
Centric highlights interesting, innovative, and inspiring people in the UCF community. And this year our theme is resilience. As we know, 2020 has been insane, and a lot of people have come out stronger because of that.
That's for sure. And what can readers expect this year?
Readers can expect a lot of bright, inspiring, lighthearted content to bring a little positivity into 2020.
And as the managing editor, do you have a favorite story?
I like to say that all of them are my favorite just because they each have a little unique spin on everything, and I feel like everyone will be able to relate to at least one story.
And what was producing a magazine like during the pandemic for you and the staff?
It was absolutely hectic but rewarding, and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything in the world.
Well, thank you for being here today with us, Sam. Readers can pick up their copy next week around select areas on campus. And speaking of resilience, event management major and UCF senior Sydney Friedman started her own business in October called Plantly Addicted. She came up with the business to take care of plants, not men, after being in a toxic relationship for years. She puts her time, love, and effort into other things that can grow. Friedman says her business is helping her heal.
My time is just spent on other hobbies now, including the planting. It takes so much time out of my day that I'm just not even thinking about my past. It's really crazy how much I've healed.
Is to give those purchasing the succulent boxes a different hobby, to water and nurture something that provides good energy. For those who are interested in buying these planted holiday gifts, Friedman is offering a 20% off Black Friday sale.
There will be 2 new pets in chief in the United States this January. The White House has a long history of having different pets with every incoming president. However, President Trump is the first president in a century without a pet. Now, after 4 years, the Bidens are bringing their 2 German Shepherds, Champ and Major, to the White House. Major is the first shelter dog to reside in the White House. With the holidays coming up, Orange County Animal Services is celebrating their Harry Potter month. Adoption fees for both dogs and cats are only $10, and with over 6 million animals in shelters across the U.S., according to the ASPCA, this is a major deal.
Basketball season is here. Find out what you can expect if you plan on attending games this season.
Hey Knights fans, I'm Taylor Toole and I'm bringing you your sports update for this week. Let's get started. The UCF football team will take on the number 7 ranked Cincinnati Bengals this Saturday at 3:30 p.m. in the Bounce House. But don't forget to bring your toys because 2 former players are hosting their annual Troy Drive once again. Former Knights J.J. Johnson and Anthony Robertson founded the One Kid Orlando Foundation in 2017. Robertson says the mission of this organization is to give kids of today a better tomorrow. The pair is collecting toys for their toy drive once again this weekend. They are asking people to bring an unwrapped toy and drop it in the donation bins outside the stadium. Robertson says collecting toys is especially important this year because of the pandemic, and it's important to come together.
It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what what's your religion. It doesn't matter anything. All that matters is the holiday.
But if you can't make it to the game this weekend, there are other locations around Orlando where you can donate the toys. You can also make a donation by visiting their website at onekidorlando.com. The alumni say they are partnering with 4 Roots Food Pantry that will donate 1 food item for every toy collected. And the UCF Knights will take the court for the 2020 to 2021 season, but there are some new guidelines in place for fans this year. Nightly News reporter Jarrett Kappelman tells us what this season will look like for basketball fans.
Just last season, this arena was packed
with college basketball fans. But due to COVID-19 concerns, this once full arena may be a little emptier than usual.
Press conference this week, UCF Athletics states the Addition Financial Arena can have a 25% capacity for all basketball games. This news comes as no surprise since the university is allowing football games to have the same percentage. UCF Athletics officials say those levels will not change this season. However, for the men's basketball team who are 25-8 at home the past 2 seasons, it may be challenging to play in a quieter arena. Head coach Johnny Dawkins says the team needs to adapt to hearing fewer cheers this season.
We don't have the home court advantage of our fan support here, so we're going to have to do a little bit extra, I think, ourselves, within our team to really be successful.
UCF Athletics says fans attending games must wear face coverings except while eating and drinking. Spectators will also practice social distancing when sitting inside. UCF alumni Michael Shikini says he is pleased with the way UCF has handled COVID-19 so far. Michael and his wife Patty Shikini say they attend every home game and travel to most football and basketball away games. Michael says even with COVID-19, he still plans to keep that tradition going.
As a fan of UCF Athletics, I think it's incumbent upon us to do what we can where we're comfortable in supporting our hometown team.
While Michael has already purchased his season tickets for basketball, it is still unsure how students can access tickets for this season. However, UCF Knightly News will keep you updated on how UCF Athletics plans on distributing student tickets. In Orlando, Jared Kappelman, UCF Knightly News.
Men's basketball will face Oklahoma next Saturday at Addition Financial Arena. And that's a wrap on your sports updates for this week, but don't forget about the War on I-4 when your Knights go head-to-head with the USF Bulls in Tampa at 3:30 on Black Friday. Back to you, Kai and Jenna.
That's all our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. While Nightly News will resume again next year, we would like to take a minute to thank production for all their hard work behind the scenes this semester.
And to those of you who are graduating, congratulations. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and have a safe and happy holiday season.